بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The first verse of the chapter Asr. We consider the flight of time. We spend a lot of time on it. So, but another verse just presents the opposite of this. Here. This one.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Just presents the opposite view of we have discussed. And it is not what the Quran takes the position, but those people who reject the prophetic message, especially about the creatorship of God and observance of God and sustaining the universe, observing the universe, everything is under his control. Those people who cannot really comprehend this or doesn't want to submit to it, whatever, to this idea, whatever the reason they have, always during that time, 14 plus hundreds years ago, and now, everyone says, and now that time, they used to say, time is killing us or giving us death. Everything is determined by the passing of time. Now the rhetoric changed in this century, not only in this century, from last century onwards, second half of the last century onwards, rhetoric changed. They said, whatever happens happens within the current of time from one aspect. Another aspect, how about the future? Can you make any guess, any determination about the future? They say, no, we cannot, but the time in the future will disclose what is happening in the universe to human minds so that human minds will be able to understand what is happening in the world or how the things are developing. But if we really take notice of the stand, those people who oppose the idea that there is an intelligent creator, they say, in fact, everything is happening in time. But they are not like the ancient way of, they are called in Islamic terminology, not Islamic terminology, in Arabic, but of that time, these people used to have an ideology which is named as Dahriyun. It was an old, ancient philosophy, prevalent at that time, but it must be the effect of this philosophy on the people must have presented during the life of the prophet to the people who follow the prophet and accept the message of the prophet, the messenger. It is in the Quran. Otherwise, that time, the people of that time shouldn't know what they are talking about. So Quran should, when something is not within the capacity of the observation of the present day time in his life, present day in his life, if something was not known to to them. There's another principle in the Quran, actually. We have to be aware of this principle. If something mentioned in the Quran was not known during the lifetime of the Prophet, because not because the Quran speaks to those people only, because it must include, the message must include those people as well. If the case is this, I think I'm looking up this way a little bit, so this lady, yeah. But sometimes when you write, we can come a little bit.
No, I got it.
Okay, finish. This is another principle in reading the Quran. If it is a phenomenon, if it is a phenomenon known to general public, not only experts, or specific intelligent people, if it is known to everyone, Quran explicitly states it, because afterwards everybody will know it accordingly. There will be no problem. It is already known by human beings. But if it is not known, the Quran doesn't explicitly say. Yeah? Allegorical way. The Quran uses allegory about it. So in the course of time, people, when the people become aware of that event or content of that subject, when it becomes evident to everyone of any time period after the revelation of the Quran until I don't know. We don't know. But as long as it is alive or the Quran is preserved in this world, when it is, the Quran speaks about it, it uses allegorical language so that the people will interpret the allegory, and because they cannot read the allegory in a literal way, so non-literal way of reading will be applied, and they will make sense of it according to their capacity, according to their knowledge, or according to the information they have about the creation or human relationship, whatever. Not straight away, not literal explanation. But here is very literal. وقالوا ما هي إلا حياتنا الدنيا نموت ونحيا وما يهلكنا إلا الدهر. So clear now, and yet they say there is nothing beyond our life in this world. We die as we come to life, and nothing but time destroys us. Very clear. It's not allegorical. It's very simple. Time destroys us. So, but of this they have no knowledge whatever. They do nothing but guess. We will work on it. We will work on if I forget, remind me, inshallah. They have no knowledge whatever. They do nothing but guess. This part is so miraculous. We will talk about it. But let's come to this principle of reading the Quran. I think among many principles that we keep repeating when the subject allows us to discuss it, now today what we discussed, very simple. This statement is very straightforward. You can read it literally. Yeah, there's no need to interpret it because it is so obvious. So that allegorical language is used so that you need to interpret it. But whatever the interpretation you come up with about the statement of the Quran, as long as this interpretation first is according to the grammar of the language used, employed in the text, which is Arabic. Yeah. Shouldn't contradict the grammar of the language, but the grammar of the language is established by the Quran as well, by the Quran itself. I think we should, I don't want to make it a technical thing, but at the same time, if you don't really grasp what I am saying because of the lack of my ability to express it in a foreign language, for me, it's not mother language, native language. So I'm trying to explain. The interpretation, allegorical statements in the Quran needs interpretation. That's what my conviction is. And not everyone, but majority of the scholars, I'm just guessing as far as my readings teach me, majority of the scholars accepted that allegorical sentences must be interpreted. In this interpretation, we have to have two principles to follow. One is grammatic rules of the language which is used in the text. Quran is Arabic, but in other texts may be Aramaic, maybe Hebrew. They are not supposed to obey the Arabic language grammar, Hebrew grammar, or Aramaic grammar. Okay, whatever the language, the original language of the text is. So as far as the Quran is concerned, then we expect that the interpretation of the verses which require interpretation, which is allegorical, must follow the Arabic grammar, cannot be contradicted, the grammar. But it is not enough. If you say not the second one, but the principle for this, another principle, if you say the main title, the second title, a subtitle is Arabic grammar, which is followed by the text itself. Now, what does it mean? Not established the grammar, not established within the language of the common people. Quran, I mean, even the foes, enemies of the Quran accept it, but there are some people who challenge this, but very few, and they are not strong enough. Their arguments are not so strong enough, saying that Quran, most of the people say Quran is consistent in its grammatic structure within itself. Am I clear?
Don't get it.
No, you don't get it. Okay.
What does it,
Now, no. For example, English language has its own, not really a grammatic language, but let's say, assume that it has a grammar, structured grammar. But in the course of time, you see that the people develop a kind of language which doesn't apply the grammar to the grammatic rule. But the Quran never does that. And also, another view among the literature or literary experts saying that, in fact, Quran has established the Arabic grammar. Otherwise, it didn't have, the Arabic language didn't have a certain established grammatic structure. I don't know, I'm not expert on it, but some literature authorities say it is due to the Quranic consistency in using the same structure in order to convey the same message or same meaning. In this way, Quran established the Arabic grammar and make it stable and consistent within itself. That is a view of the scholars. Maybe some exceptions, but I don't remember reading any exceptions from any scholar. Okay? Maybe, I don't know. But as far as I know, they all know that the Arabic grammar has been established by the usage of the Quran, the usage of Arabic by the Quran, because it is so consistent, made it a rule, if you like.
Because of its power in history, or was there no
Power?
I mean,
did you say power? I'm just
impact
yeah.
in history, or was there no Arabic text before?
No.
The
There was.
revelation
There was.
with the
But
like a consistent
language
grammatical-
existed. Language existed. It's a poetic language, but the grammar was not established. Quran established the grammar. That's what the scholars say, and make it. So what we are expected to do is very simple. When we try to interpret the allegorical language of the Quran, we have to follow the grammatic structure established by the Quran itself, not the broken, vulgar language of the people. Understood? That is, it has two stages in it. You know, the grammar, but established by the Quran, but the Quran itself.
But every time you say the grammatical structure that the Quran established for itself, are you referring to just grammar as we understand it now, or are you referring to kind of the eloquence or the standard of the grammar?
Now, afterwards, grammatic structure of Arabic language was established by the Quran itself. It wasn't challenged. But spoiled version, they say Ammiya. It means popular people's language. Yeah? So when you look at it, Ammiya, Arabic doesn't have any grammar. I think the native Arabic speaker, not speakers, we can make it plural. At least two native Arabic speakers are here. Ammiya Arabic, popular Arabic, doesn't have a grammar. Can you challenge this? No, it's obvious. Just put the words following each other. That's it. All broken. Understand? But of course, there are many aspects of Arabic grammar. It's not our subject here. Now, it is all broken language. They use broken and no grammar. They follow no grammar. Almost no grammar, but similar to somehow, but no grammar at all. Yep. Okay. The second one is more important than this. This is what we said. The first principle is well established. The second one, quite a lot of people are aware of it, but not everyone, every interpreter, every commentator on the Quran really emphasizes on the importance of it. What does it mean? What I am trying to say is simple. If you attempt to interpret any allegorical verse or the sentence of the Quran, what you have to do, or if you say, I don't know Arabic and I don't know how the translators or the commentators made their commentary on the Quran, I don't know, but you have to at least inquire whether this person is aware of this or not. Search for it. Be very careful. If you are very careful, even you don't know Arabic, you can understand. This man is not following the principle that we are going to study. Second principle. Second principle, which is any interpretation whatsoever, let's not limit the interpretation to only allegorical sentences. Right? No, there are many, many allegorical sentences in the Quran. Really, you cannot make sense of it when you read it literally. Quite a lot. Well, God is quarreling with the angels. Angels are quarreling with God and questioning God and reminding God that, well, be careful, you might have forgotten something. These people are going to shed blood on earth and confusions, turmoil in the world. What are you doing? Are you aware of what you are doing? And as if angels know better than God. But everybody knows that. And also asking somebody who's called Iblis, doesn't matter whatever it is, Iblis, to do something. And Iblis says, nah, you don't know what you are asking me to do. You are wrong. Do you understand? So, well, it is definitely against even the concept of God in Greek mythology, let alone the Tawhid book, which is the book which is claimed to belong to the Quranic teaching. No one can say that. Even the Greek polytheist people used to have many gods. Gods fight, but not the Iblis will fight against God. Or angels will, a sort of rebellious attitude, questioning that, oh, what you don't, as if you don't know what you are doing. But that is obviously begs the interpretation. You have to interpret, yeah? Definitely. The Quran says, and interpret it in such a way that it shouldn't contradict the grammar rules. That is what we talked about. The second important principle is the interpretation should not contradict the main message of the Quranic teaching. It means you cannot interpret a sentence of the Quran in a way which contradicts the main message of the Quran. Very clear example, obvious example. We can say, for example, interpret a verse which contradicts the Quranic presentation of the concept of God. For example, if I interpret Iblis as an authority which challenged God's authority and somehow overcome it, because it sustained as a rebellious being in the apparent teaching of the Quran. Yeah. If you like, God really didn't destroy Iblis completely by saying, who are you? Why don't you obey me? Disappear. Omnipotent God. So you cannot say that God and Iblis are equally holding powers and competing with each other, because omnipotent God cannot have an equal by definition. That's what the Quranic stand. So you cannot interpret it in this way. What you have to do, follow these principles and interpret it as applicable to your conceptualization power. It means how much you can put it into a concept, and another sorry, and also applicable to your life standard as a guide to your life, as a guide to your life. Got it? As a guide to your life. Of course, only a few certain followers of a certain tradition. I don't want to mention the name, it's not important. You may guess. Certain tradition say, if a verse looks allegorical, never attempt to interpret it, because when you interpret it, you confine the message of the Quran to the capacity of your own reasoning. Oh, looks very right, huh? But what is the alternative? Literally, it doesn't make sense, even contradicts the main teachings of the Quran. Iblis challenging God. That is the example came to my mind, the practical example. Not only this one, there are many. So Iblis challenging God. Well, can you challenge God, the omnipotent one? Well, in our very simple language, which number can challenge infinite? I'm bigger than you. I have a stand as well before infinite. Can that? Doesn't make sense. So you cannot interpret it in this way. This verse, you cannot interpret in this way that Iblis is challenging God. But they say, but at the same time, if you interpret it, your interpretation will be confined to your capacity of understanding, and you will reduce what God meant to your own capacity. What are you doing? How dare you do that? So apparently, it is at first because of the political turmoil of the time. This very great scholar and respected scholar among the Muslim scholarship, so were appealed to the minds of the people. They said, yes, this is really true. What are we doing? Right? Especially understanding the hadiths. Hadiths are almost all of them allegorical. So there is a reason for it. But people may not be aware of it because we are mostly exposed to ethical content, wise hadiths, narrations. So ethical context wise makes sense. Be respectful to your parents, for example. It's really good advice. That's it. Or take care of your neighborhood. Yep. These are what we hear. But when it comes to some very serious matters, all the hadiths are almost allegorical. So they said, oh, it is okay, because the people were arbitrarily interpreting this event because of the conflict between political polarizations in the community, which is very human. We cannot say that there will be a stereotyped people. It is impossible. It is against the wisdom in creation. It's stereotype people. No, there must be definitely some sort of disagreements and conflict, maybe fight. That is very human. Everybody wants to stand behind his thesis. That is human. They said, let's stop this interpretation. It is a very good theory. It makes sense. But soon, people realize that, oh God, if I'm not going to interpret this thing, it is not applicable to my life at all. I don't know what it's talking about. How can I benefit from it? They started, no. We are being too, how do you say, immediate, hurrying, how do you say, too quick, too rash, to come to a conclusion in order to get out of this conflict because of the interpretation, different interpretation. They said, "Hey, what shall we do then?" No, they need to be interpreted. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Now the situation settled down. Now, first, years ago, I remember it was our one of the topics of our classes years ago. I don't know when I don't remember time. I have no time concept, so I don't remember what happened last week. Time-wise, I know what happened, but when, Wednesday, Thursday, I don't remember. So I don't pay attention to it, or maybe I don't have the ability to do that. Now, sometimes ago we discussed this. Quran, in principle, God speaks to common people. We discussed this. For this reason, recently we talked about it. The main audience or addressee of the people are common people, because of the majority of the population are common people. So, but in order to apply or put into practice this principle, Quran teaches people or presents this view by using a kind of language which is based on phenomenology. Yeah. I mean, phenomenon. Phenomenon means what? Not exactly what's happening, but how you see it. How you see it. Not exactly what's happening. You may say, for example, moon is getting larger and larger and until the full moon. No, moon is the same. It's not getting larger. It's not getting bigger and getting smaller, shrinking and enlarging. What's happening? Your view of moon is shrinking or becoming smaller and smaller size, and then getting bigger and bigger size. In fact, moon is the same. Yeah, it doesn't change its shape. It doesn't change it. It is body, but you see only the enlightened part. An enlightened part changes due to the relationship between the sun and the earth. So it is so precisely arranged the place so that we can understand the days. So we can count the days. It is our calendar, in fact, for human beings. Now, everybody's calendar is now on their iPhone or computer nowadays. But that time, with a huge history, people used to use the moon as a calendar, precisely arranged, no change at all. Sorry?
No variation.
No violation?
Variation.
Variation, not variation, without any variation. Correct. So, what the Quran says, as the moon getting smaller, moon doesn't get smaller. Yeah, but in your view, it means in parentheses. That's how you see it. Doesn't matter whether the body of the moon is getting smaller or the bright, reflecting, life reflecting part of the moon is getting smaller. Does it matter? Both of them are subject to an intelligent arrangement. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. It is not fixed. It is changing. And the question is, who is changing? What is the force behind that it is changing? So you have to interpret it. Yeah, you have to say, not the moon itself, but the light. When you discover it, if you don't discover it, you will say, moon itself is good. Doesn't matter. The problem is still there. What is the main motive or factor, agent or motor behind this change? That's the question you have to think about. So they understood, majority of the people, some people still remain, but I think they are insignificant. And it is a political sect as well. Doesn't matter, supported by a certain of powerful, financially powerful people. They can ignore them. Majority of the people all interpret the allegorical verses of the majority of the scholars. So when this verse that we are studying, okay, and yet they say there is nothing beyond our life in this world. Does it sound familiar to you? There is nothing beyond our life in this world. Do you keep hearing this nowadays? Yeah, it was the same claim 1400 years ago, even earlier than this. Yep. On the non-written history, especially philosophical texts, goes back to Greek. You can find some philosophers claiming this as well. How can they say this? There is nothing beyond our life in this world. How can we say this? Yes, we can say it with one condition. The Quran explains this. We die. As we come to life, it means, and what the physicists or especially biologists claim now, and which is true, as we are not born, in fact, in the form of fetus, certain chemical, I don't know the names, and I'm not interested in the technical words. I don't know. First of all, it's not my specialty. You may know if somebody knows it. It doesn't matter really the name. The cell functions in such a way that first develops, but at the same time, getting ready to die. And the end is, you can observe that this living being has an end in itself. But as far as did you get it? Those study medicine, maybe there are some others as far as I know. I think these two end.
Should I elaborate on the claim that they make?
Yeah.
The claim is that the body is regenerating at the same time while it's degenerating. So it's being kind of recreated and diminished at the same time.
Yeah. It's preparing its own demolishing.
Mm-hmm.
Inside. So no one can say that I'm going to live forever. You can't, because your body, agreed? Your body already produces something which will end up with your death. Now, this is what my body is. Yeah? That's my body is. It is not only a claim. I think it is, the biology proves it. I mean, the evidence are there. It's nothing wrong. Yeah, body is arranged in its own existence. It is arranged by its what it is source of existence in such a way that human beings cannot deceive themselves, saying that I may not die. There is no option, and then we die. Die means, again, according to the teachings of the Quran, we cannot interpret. That's another example. For example, example for the previous principles we mentioned. I cannot say that I am eternal. I may be eternal, but the Quran also says you are going to die, but your death is what? Option one. It's absolute annihilation. Does the Quran say this?
No.
Absolutely not. No. And other option? And you are done. That's it. No. What is the other option that the Quran presents to us? It's known to all of you, I'm sure. All of you.
Recurring.
Sorry?
So that is like recurring.
Resurrection, you mean?
Or resurrection
Ah.
recurring.
Recur? What's the word?
Reoccurring?
Yeah, reoccurring.
Like repeating?
No.
Resurrection.
Recurrent? No, I just wanted
Or
to know.
Recurring.
Recurring, yeah. It's called resurrection. Now, what the Quran says, you are going to be given another type of existence. But Quran also says, your soul doesn't die. Right? I'm not going to give death to you. Your soul will continue its journey of existence. Not the worldly life, the life in this world. Its existence, it will continue. It will experience. Now, actually, my body doesn't experience anything. You can cut it, and there is, as far as the body is concerned, body is not going to withdraw its hand. For example, if you want to cut the hand, now, if you try to cut my hand, I will. Sorry? Withdraw it. But if there is no soul in it, what happens? Nothing. So it is not the body which reacts to the world. I am the one which reacts, who reacts to the conditions of this world. And death is the end of the body, death, not end of my soul. What makes me a human being? So Quran says, your body will go to the earth, if you like, turn back to its origin, to the earth, because it came from the earth. The nourishment, the source of nourishment is mainly from the earth, through the earth, through earth. But your human side is coming from, continue, coming from where? It's your soul, what? Can you find, sorry?
From a divine origin?
Somewhere, nothing to do with this universe. It is coming somewhere, has no relationship with this universe. Clear? Do we have any question about it? Let's say, but it is important to understand what these people are saying. When they say, we die as we come to life, why do they say this? Because, now, let's finish this, and then I will ask the question to you now. My human side has no source of existence within the universe. Nothing can claim that I am the source of existence. I am the source of existence. I'm emphasizing on it. That the people say, in a very simple way, although they disclaim now, this evolutionists disclaim that, oh, it was an old-fashioned, Darwin, the godfather of evolution, didn't have this knowledge that time. He made this sort of claims, but we have other claims. They are called neo-Darwinists. Now, because the body or the population of certain species decrease or increase according to the conditions of the environment, correct? If there is a famine, the population of New York will reduce to half at this, common famine or epidemic, which is not known to medical studies, so they wouldn't prevent it, and the people die more. Now, it means they said it is according to the life conditions or the environmental conditions, the population is reduced or decreased. They give the very simplistic, to me, extremely simplistic example of the color of the butterflies in a certain area in Germany, where Hitler established a lot of heavy industrial plants, and then the weather polluted, the air got dirty, and the forests got dirty, and the color became darker and darker. So wild butterflies disappeared because the birds could easily catch the white color, dark color butterflies survive. So is it the source of existence of the white color butterflies or the black colored butterflies? Is it the source of existence of moths? Actually, they don't say butterfly. The moths, probably say M-O-T-H. No, moths. I don't know my pronunciation is right or wrong. So does it cause the change of species? If there is a famine, half of New York population dies away, and does it cause the change of species? The human beings become something twice as big or something? No. That the number reduces, and within another environment, number increases. After this famous expression, baby boomers. After the Second World War, the people became prosperous, and they encouraged people, the population, to have more children. We can nourish them. Don't worry, state can take care of them. Encourage them to have larger population in America so that they will be stronger. They couldn't manage this now. They're importing immigrants. Now, although we're saying that, no, we don't want it, but at the same time, if you are a qualified technicians or professional, they love it. Anyway, this is the political situation, but it disproves the claim that species, if you like, soul of the creatures, animate beings, are shaped or affected by the environment. No, there is no evidence for it. Soul has no source of existence in the world. When people, let's come to this claim now, we die as we come to life. What's wrong with this statement? If you think it is wrong, we die as we come to life. In its classical form, it means we exist only within the lifespan, right? Here is my birthday, here is my death day. Yeah. The people are happy that they are born, they celebrate their birthday, they never can celebrate their death day. There's no such thing. So that's it, they say. That's it. That's what we are. What's wrong with it? Is it correct or not? An idea? Somebody says this, shakes her head. Do you understand the question? You look puzzled. You are not puzzled. You are just careful. Try not to sleep. If someone falls asleep, he's free to fall asleep. Yeah, because my monotonous, beautiful voice cracked. So old man's voice and cracked. And also, alhamdulillah, it's open today. A couple of days ago, I couldn't make any voice because some reasons. Okay, I wasn't very, very warm. When I'm not warm, it happens to my voice. Now, okay, why do you think people say this? Is it right or wrong? Do we come to life, do we die as we come to life? It means, let's put it in a very simple language. That's what we are between birth and death. That's what we are. Right or wrong? Anybody? Go challenge it. Before Qasim starts speaking, come on, challenge it.
We said
Right or
on
wrong?
the physical
Right or wrong?
uh,
Is this
Yes.
statement right or wrong?
I would say yes.
Right.
I mean,
Oh,
depending
so-
on the interpretation, I would say no, actually.
sorry?
On a physical, if I interpret it like in a physical way, yes.
What do you mean by physical way?
The body existence of our, the bodily existence of our life
Uh-huh.
will die as soon as it comes to life.
So that is
In terms of
yeah.
soul,
old interpretation didn't know this, but now we know that in the cell also it is written, or it is determined in the cell. You are going to die here. No way to escape. No, but ultimately they are the same. We die as we come to life. Ultimately, we are the same. They are saying the same thing. So it doesn't matter in which form they say it, but they say it. Is this statement right or wrong? You say right.
on a physical part, on making the distinction between body and soul, like body, it is right regarding soul.
According to this statement, do they make a distinction body and soul? Do they make a distinction? My body dies, but do they say this?
No.
No.
Clear? So if we describe our existence, for example, when I die, inshallah not, but the people would put a stone saying, born in such and such year, died this. Who? Me? No. My body? Yes. But does the gravestone make the distinction? Just this man. They put the name there. I don't know what it means. Why do they put the name after you die? What are you going to do with the name? And some people put the title as well, professor or general. Some simpler people say the wife of general somebody. It's herself is just maybe primary school graduate. It's very common, very stupid things the people do. They don't. Would you like to say anything? They reduce we means what? Human beings. Right? They are speaking. And the definition of human is gone. Reduced to body. Not body. So we means my body. They do that because they understand their existence in the form of body alone. That's what the Quran saying this, in fact, ridiculing them. Say these idiot people think that human beings consist of body alone. Well, after you make the first mistake, define human beings as body alone, this sentence is correct. But you cannot say we then. You have to specify it. How? My body dies as it comes to life. In the real sentence must be. But the Quran says these people describe themselves as body alone. Anything?
I was just thinking that,
Yeah.
some people will accept that they don't just consist of the body, that there is still their soul, their humanness, but that nevertheless, that it's attached to the body in such a way that it can't exist without the body.
Oh, they are attached in such a way within this type of creation, correct. But the last one,
Right.
it does not exist. Sorry.
So yeah, so their claim would be they wouldn't reduce themselves to their body, but nevertheless say that after death, after the death of the body, the soul can't exist without the body.
Okay, this conclusion has no verification at all. Why? Cannot have a verification. We cannot verify it. It's very understandable. Because if someone says, okay, most of the people must accept, are obliged to accept that I am not body alone. For example, if I don't touch your body, if I look at you like this and say, what do you feel? Happy? I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything to you. I didn't harm you. Or, excuse me, but I think you understand what I mean. Spit at you. What do you do?
I get upset.
Really upset. Yeah, maybe take me to court, sue, and start a court case against me.
Try my chances, yeah.
Yeah. But what did the judge asks you? What did man say to you? He spit at your butt. Okay, don't you have a handkerchief? Clearly finish. What's the what's the
damage.
What's the problem?
what's the problem? What is the big
Injury.
deal about it? No. You say, that's my honor or something. Okay. Now, if someone describes this, it really demonstrates his or her own contradiction, because I have body which consists of physical elements and not the origin of their existence, but belonging to the conditions of this life. But my soul doesn't have a source of existence within the universe, and it's not subject to the conditions of this world. You may be a rich and very prosperous person, but at the same time, for other reason, you may be under stress, nothing to do with the physical conditions of this world, because of your intellectual understanding, because of your life expectations. But they are not really, yes, my power of sight functions with the eye, physical eye. But even I didn't have the physical eye, still I have the consciousness of my power of sight. It is independent existence. And this independent existent thing is not limited to the conditions of this life. Only functions within this type of creation according to the conditions of this type of creation's physical structure. But it doesn't mean that my soul first comes into existence within the conditions of this universe, and my soul dies away within the conditions of this universe, because it is not subject to the conditions of this universe. The source of existence cannot be referred to any part of this universe. Cannot be. But you can say, oh, how about the body? Do you think a part of this universe is the cause of existence of my body? No. But materially they are related to physically they are related to this world. But my soul is not physically related to this world. Although my soul exists within the conditions of this universe. Not only, but it still exists before and after. That's why I cannot really excuse my soul within the conditions of my body, existence of my body. or life of my body. I cannot really reduce it to it. It depends on how we understand the source of existence of the things and how they are operating. My eye is not my power of sight. Right? My eye is not my power of sight. Question or concern? Okay.
It's clear to see the evidence that our body is constrained by the universe.
Yeah.
Our body
Physical
can't-
conditions of this universe.
Right.
Yeah.
What is the evidence that our soul, however we would define that, is connected?
But my problem is with the language.
Sure.
Not my problem, not your problem. Can you just repeat the last sentence you said? What is the relation of my soul?
So, what is the evidence
Yeah.
that our existence,
Yeah.
right? Soul is
Human
a fun-
existence.
human existence, right? Our essence, our act of being created.
Mhm.
What is the evidence that that is connected to something outside of the universe?
Okay.
The creator
Mhm.
created our body, which exists within the universe.
Mhm.
Our existence was also created by the creator. How do we connect that to something outside of the
For
universe?
example, your body is in contact with the physical environment. Your soul is in contact with, not limited with the physical environment. The human capacity, that is the soul, not the brain. Brain is just a different kind of meat. But everywhere is a different kind of meat. For example, my skin is a different kind of meat. The cellular structure is different, but sentient beings can, any human being with soul, which means sentient beings, can think of what is before the universe, what is after the universe, what is beyond the universe. Is not limited to the universe. But my body cannot do anything beyond the capacity of its physical existence. My soul doesn't acknowledge anything. For example, we think of infinite. Yeah, we think of the source of existence. Source of existence is by definition transcendental. It means, I don't want this word, but beyond metaphysical kind of phenomenon, metaphysical. So only the soul can communicate with the metaphysical, or transcendental is better word, transcendental notions, eternity at the beginning and eternity after the end of your life. Or you can imagine absolute, infinite, but there is no infinite in the universe. So you can have hopes, wishes, if only it was, and you can wish anything beyond the capacity of the universe. So it is not limited within the conditions of the universe. It is always beyond it. So you can easily understand that the human soul cannot be confined to the limitations of this universe.
Mhm.
It's obvious. So we can say, I have two sides. One is body, and the other one is not a physical object, and non-physical, because it is not confined by the physical strains. For example, my body cannot go beyond this wall, or cannot go through the wall if there was no door, right? But my imagination can go beyond the universe. And everybody asks the question, what is the source of the universe? from the very beginning. What was the first initial power, or they call it power? Initial power to bring the universe into existence. And what will happen to me after I die? Whose concern is not this? What will happen to me after I die? And some people, there's nothing, as these people say. We die as we come as we come to life. We die, because there is first a premise is. What can I get? Okay, I know how to do that. It comes up off. Huh? You cannot go. So the first sentence says there is nothing beyond our life in this world. Does it make sense? There's nothing beyond our life in this world. My concerns go beyond my life in this world. Yes? For example, this gentleman is married. Is there another married? You are married. Are you thinking of your children, future of your children, trying to get a neighborhood where the schooling is better? Yeah. May Allah help you. Okay? Now, it's not easy, especially in Libya. Now, why? After you die, you know what? You should not care what happened, because you are nothing after you die, according to this world. There is nothing beyond our life in this world. Why do you bother about your grandchildren? The same materialist people say that, look, our budget deficit is something trillion, quadrillion, whatever the number they say, and this burden on our grandchildren. And when you speak them, they say, when we die, we disappear. Isn't that a contradiction? Obvious contradiction. Yeah? They say that we die and finish. But at the same time, they say, hey, take care of the environment. Yeah? They say they are ecologists. They say, oh, what are you doing? You are destroying your next generation. It's like you have no right to interfere into and deprive your next generation. You have no right to do this. Why bother? Why are you bothering? Because when you die, you disappear. The same person says, when I will disappear. And the same person says, let's do recycling. I was young. I was so wondering. I was young, and I was living in a, let's say, secular community in Turkey. There are many secular communities in Turkey, by the way. So they used to drink, yeah, but save the bottles for recycle. Why? We have no right to take the property of the next generation. We are over consuming. They were strongly against any religious idea. Isn't that an obvious contradiction? That's how these people, how clever they are. They contradict themselves without realizing. So far, there is nothing beyond our life in this world contradicts human nature. Yeah? There must be something, simply because it is within my concern. Well, who am I? Then it concerns itself, which is beyond my life. Whom am I? We die as we come to life. Right? For example, that's the extension of this first premises. If there is nothing beyond our life in this world, of course, our life on earth is what all about. Okay. And nothing but time destroys us. These are very heavy philosophical arguments. Do you notice that? No. nothing but time destroys us. You know, وَمَا يُهْلِكُنَا إِلَّا الدَّهْرُ. You have to memorize this. A very, very clear statement in the Quran. But how do we understand this? Nothing but time destroys us. Now, do we notice that that time it was the rough claim? Now they turned the same claim into a scientific form. Same claim into a scientific form. What is that? Time. Time. Why? If you notice, the physics materialists and biologists explain the existence in terms of development in time. They make magical, apparently, I mean, they may have some sort of theory, and the theories are based on approximations. Approximations are defined by human imagination as much as they can imagine. They say minus 43 something seconds, we know what is going on. Onwards. Yeah, in the very beginning of, they say physically it is proven. I don't know, maybe Big Bang. It's proven. You know, the Big Bang is proved physically, mathematically, calculation-wise, by a person whose famous book is what? Name, the title of his famous book is The History of, who knows? Stephen Hawking. The History of?
Something with time. Got the exact time. Time and space or something.
The History of Time. You see? The greatest man of the 21st century in physics. Maybe he's the greatest man in his research and mathematical calculations. He says we can go to the very, very, very beginning of time and explain everything within time. But why can you not go before time? It is not experimentally possible for me to study it or make a calculation, because, you know, simple, very simple. But you know, if it is within your interest area, you cannot calculate infinite. Infinite is just taken for granted definition. Infinite is just a definition. You cannot calculate it. So you have to put a limit. You have to put a limit. When you put a limit to the life of the earth, the same thing, life of the universe. The same sentence goes in the same way. Look at, I will make it, I will try to make it, not human life, but life of the universe, according to modern physics. And biology is the extension of it. Actually, if there was no physics, studies of physics, biology wouldn't really develop, wouldn't be able to develop. If there was no development in mathematics, physics cannot make an improvement. So it is mathematics, physics, biology. Then chemistry, it goes in between this physics and biology. Biology deals with living beings, and chemistry deals with non-living beings. That is, but of course, chemistry can work on living beings. Structures, the physical structures of living beings only, not the life development, origin of the species, etc. They don't really concern themselves with this one. Okay, let's put the sentence in a modern context. There is nothing beyond the life of the universe in the existence. Life of the universe as it is, we see it, and there is nothing beyond the life of the universe. It means no beginning before universe exists, nothing before universe exists, and there will be nothing when the universe, according to something, thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, something, I don't know. They keep talking about it. I don't know. I'm not denying what they are saying. I don't know. I'm not my specialty, but I see only the philosophical side of it. What do they try to say by using this evidence? What their conclusion is? Evidence is that, okay, I understand what their conclusion is. They studied the table, okay? They say this is this material and the chemical structure of this material, volumes of books are studied, but I'm not interested in the quality of the material which is used here. I'm interested in the philosophical side of which says it happened to be by itself. Oh, that is my field. Now, how do you say that? Is there any evidence that it's happening by itself? Does it have the quality to make it into itself? Now, I don't know the chemical study or physical study of the table, but the logic does not make sense to me. And they cannot prove it. They just say that, look, if you say, it's very simple, very, very great minds, Laplace or something, I don't want to mention the names, say, because the alternative is there is a God who created the universe. And since we cannot experience God as it is defined, transcendental being, we can accept this proposal. You know why? Because we cannot experience God creating the universe. If you notice this point, it's a very, very strong argument among the materialist, atheist, physicists. If you notice in our discussions that certain concepts, we keep using it. That is an answer to this kind of claims. We say you cannot try to understand the existence from God's perspective. It doesn't make sense. How? You cannot use the language saying God created the universe. It is absolutely nonsense. Why? Because philosophically, it doesn't make sense. It begs its own question. You were very serious. I was very happy. This Westwasser, Iblis, listen to me. No, we are in the very crossroad now. Why do we say that we cannot speak God created the universe or God created me? It doesn't make sense. It begs its own question. Why? Who will help me? When you say God, the first, where did you get this idea of God? If you say God created the universe, so attributing the existence of universe to God directly, your claim of God is in vacuum. What do you have to do? Turn the sentence upside down. The universe must have been created by God, right? This is an answer to the greatest philosopher in the science field. Very simple. If you come with this view, with this approach, they cannot say anything because I am looking at the source of existence. I am not looking at the chain of the causes, because I don't attribute the existence of something to its prior material. Prior material, the cause and effect. Prior material has no quality to determine the effects qualities, because effects, the result, what happened, has more qualities than what the cause have. Water, light, mineral, air molecule cannot be the source of existence of life of a plant, because life has more quality than those elements which you attribute the existence of the plant. You attribute the existence of the plant to the sources which doesn't have the quality as the plant has. I cannot do that. It contradicts my mind. I am a human being. I cannot contradict with my mind. That's why we always use this kind of arguments, saying that everything is individually, or not is, everything at every moment must have been given existence by an individual, separate, independent decision made by the one who is the source of existence of everything. That is what we define. So we look at the universe. We don't say God created this tree. I say this tree must have been given existence by the one who gave existence to the whole universe. That's what the Quran teaches. But we have to know how to read the Quran. We cannot imitate the Quran. How many times those people who come continuously to our existence, we cannot. You are the oldest one, I think, here in this, from Philadelphia. How many times you heard that this sentence that we keep repeating in the world, in our discussions? Not thousands, huh? Maybe thousands as well. Sorry?
If I came every week, it would be 1,000.
Yeah. Every time we keep this sentence. Why? In my own studies, I've never seen anybody who is approaching in this way, but in modern, not it's Islamic. Now, if you go back to 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th century Islamic thinking, scholarship, everybody was saying this. Everybody was saying it is a very largely accepted and defended Islamic sect of Islamic understanding that God creates every single thing with the command of be and it is. Of course, this language was valid in the 10th, 11th, 12th century. Not valid now. Idea is valid, but the presentation is not valid. God creates everything with the command of be. Every single thing. Not from the beginning. Every moment. Yeah, very, very famous Muslim thinking, Islamic thinking under the instruction or guidance of the Quran. They developed this, but we can change it now because this sentence is valid only if people are really convinced about their conclusions concerning God. But if you are speaking to modern mind, they don't have confidence, let alone confidence. They don't believe that such a thing exists. You say God, he says, unknown and really not provable thing. Yeah, created this world, which is not provable thing. Created this world. Nonsense. They laugh at it. But if you go from just the same idea. Keep 10th century Islamic thinking and put it in within this condition, other conditions, within the conditions of this age. Put it in an upside down sentence, no one can challenge it. It's very simple. Every single thing needs a source of existence because you cannot attribute its existence to the prior thing, whatever comes before it. This one produced this one. Another thing, okay? X produced Y. Can this X have the quality, does or not can really, does this X have this quality to be the source of existence of Y? Because we said X cause Y effect. Okay? Can they show me the quality there? It says, oh, it's a very common claim. But it seems to be doing it. Yeah, when you look at me, I seem to be speaking, seeing, hearing, thinking. Can you attribute the existence of these qualities to my body? Can you attribute the source of existence to be my cells, imaginations, loving, having fear? Yeah. In order to get an answer, they developed the science of discipline of psychology, saying that it is the effect of your mother, your father, the stupid guy. He's a very stupid, but in his time he was really seriously taken into account. A person said that because of your childhood experiences or childhood problems that you suffered from, that's why it happens this way. That's why you have the fear. You have some sort of imaginations developed, and you also develop some sort because of not being successful, and you aim at something and you cannot get it, and you develop what? Now, imaginary way of accepting this in the form of what? Wishes. You don't have a wish. They say it is not realistic. When we discuss this, because they are emphasizing a lot, I keep saying that, okay, I wish this. And what is the source of existence of this wish? I wish, yeah, I wish something not really palpable. Yes, maybe plausible as well. You know, I wish I was flying in there. It's not plausible according to the conditions of this world, because I want to fly in this world when I mean my body. No, but your imagination, your thinking, your feelings flies not in the air, flies beyond the limitations of this universe. Yeah. Can you not imagine the death of the universe? Can you imagine death of the universe? Yeah. Imagine. Can you imagine the beginning of the universe? Think about it while we are praying Allah Akbar. Don't you say that there is beyond the universe? That's Akbar than the universe itself. Yes, Allahu Akbar means this. There is something beyond the limitations of this universe. That is your imagining. What is the source of existence of this imagination?
Sure, but at the same time, even the imagination itself is anchored in reference to what I experience in the universe.
Just opposite. Why? Counter.
No, but like even to imagine the end of the universe or the beginning of the universe, I need to have the concept of a universe.
Yes.
So all I'm saying is that the imagination also works in reference to what
Yeah.
is
All right.
known.
What is I am experiencing? Of course. Even all the theologies or the sacred scriptures, what do they say? You have to think about the existence of this universe, then come to the conclusion, the source of existence. What can be the source of existence? You are not responsible. You are not qualified to do any way to exercise your soul without giving reference to the universe, because you are created in these conditions. That's why you are created according to the conditions of this world. Now, the Islamic understanding that the human soul is in the center of the existence of the universe, because only human soul can make sense of the existence of the universe. But the Christian understanding, or inherited from the Torah, or sorry? Old Testament, yeah, Torah tradition, or commentators of Torah inherited from there. And they said, because it's mainly the Torah claim, the earth is in the center. But the Quran never says earth in the center, but human beings are in the center. You know why in the center? Not physically in the center, because your soul cannot be physically in anywhere. Your soul can go beyond the universe, but still the center of the universe is your soul. Why? Only your soul interprets the entirety of the universe. If there was, the Quran says, if there was no soul of a human being, it means spirit of a human being, there would be no need to create the universe for the creator. Right? That is a very famous saying narrated from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. It says, only for the sake of you, I created the universe. If you were not here, it means they, of course, the kind of simple mind that the people translated, oh, Muhammad, you. No. The same sentence speaks to you. As far as you are concerned, if you were not here, the existence of the universe would mean nothing to you. If you were not for me, the existence of the universe doesn't mean anything at all. So if there was no human being, the existence of the universe would become meaningless, purposeless. That's why lewlak means you, not the Prophet Muhammad only. He is a human being, he is too, but not for him only. So when you understand this, you understand that human soul is the really axe, of the universe. So we interpret it, we give meaning to it, we extract meaning from it. There may be some other people, none of my business. As far as I am concerned, everybody has a universe for himself, according to his capacity of comprehending it. Now, I'm looking at the time, but can I see that?
8:40.
Oh. I was aiming at finishing this sentence, this verse. Where were we? So they explain everything in terms of time because their understanding of time is correct. Time consists of, as far as human beings are concerned, this universe. But existence doesn't consist of time only. So this sentence says, nothing but time destroys us. That's why the most genius man, according to the people, which he developed and proved the theory of Big Bang, that he said, we can see everything within time, and everything within time makes sense to us. Anything beyond time, which means beyond
The universe.
sorry?
The universe.
Universe. The universe. That's correct. According to me, correct. I mean, I'm not approving it, but that's my understanding as well. I share it. Anything beyond the universe is not my concern. What happened? Denied his soul. Denied his humanity. Do you get it? No. Yes. But the most genius man in atheistic philosophy is contradiction. Complete contradiction. So the same idea, it's a very classical idea, very classical, historical idea, nothing changed. Do you see the beauty of the language of the Quran? What they say, nothing but time destroys us. Still they say the same thing. Yeah, we die in the universe. We are born in the universe. We die in the universe, nothing beyond. So what they say, universe exists, nothing beyond. Not transcendental being, not before the beginning of the universe, not after the end of the universe. Nothing exists, only universe exists. Where did you find it? That's how it is. That's how it is. That's what we see. If you refer to something transcendental, we say, no, we cannot really study it. It's not scientific. But logical conclusion, the capacity of the soul is not scientific for the stupid people. Logical conclusion. If you have something, you ask the cause of its existence. Why don't you ask the cause of the existence of Big Bang? Even you accept it as a theory to explain it, or whatever, nothing beyond time. It's a very, very old, ancient, primitive philosophy. The Quran says the stupid people now say this, but you will still find same stupid people speaking with the same terminology in the 21st century. Let's see what will happen. I'm very hopeful. I am very hopeful about scientific developments. They will explain. It is my joke. Maybe seventh time. Recently, I'm making this joke. They will explain everything. Yes. The science will explain everything. At the end, we'll come to a conclusion that we cannot explain the universe at all. There must be a creator, the source of its existence. That's what I am expecting from science, to declare this bankruptcy of their own atheistic claims. That it doesn't work now. Let's no need to anymore. Beauty. Everything they discover becomes more and more problematic in order to defend materialism. Right? Heisenberg, uncertainty principle, destroyed the previous physics. Sorry? No, it cannot. They are trying to find the creator within the universe. And the Quran is explicitly saying that a created being cannot be the creator. Yeah? وَهُمْ يُخْلَقُونَ. Whatever they attribute to the Quran, said they need to be created. Even the God particle need to be created, need to begin existence. It isn't just their wishful thinking. But atheistic wishful thinking. All right. We can conclude this. You can if we had time, really, I would like to go into this verse. It is beautiful, miraculous in every phrase in it. It is miraculous, telling us what is happening now. Maybe in another context, 1 to 5 centuries later, it will have another thing in it. But we cannot speculate it. We are responsible for our time now. So we say this is an ancient, stupid claim. Quran mocks with these people. They don't really use their mind properly. So Okay, the last part, but of this, they have no knowledge. Which means, what does it mean to have a knowledge about it? What does it mean? They cannot prove it. That's why they come to the, well, a fraction of the first second of the existence of the universe according to their mathematical calculations. It's very simple, man. Very simple. It's very simple. You know what? As something grows, right, you see that, I don't know if there's something, I would just know the marker.
You need to draw something?
Sorry, very simple, very simple. But there,
Oh,
on this side, no marker. Is there any marker somewhere? It's very simple, extremely simple.
over there maybe?
No. Is there any marker there? Very simple, I can show you. Okay. Now, if I do it here, look, if you find a thing is expanding, this point is 2 points are your beginning, all right? Yeah. Now it is going this way, steadily. You studied do you understand this? Now it is enlarging this way. The universe is expanding now steadily, but in a, how do you say, momentum, but exceeding momentum. Now, as it expands physically, because of the rays coming from the galaxies, they calculated, they detected. It's a very, this Hubble's telescope, they can detect the lights and the energy coming from there. They calculated, it is no surprise, it is nothing miraculous. They calculated, they detected and calculate the speed of the light there. So they are coming. So they are now, as they are expanding, the universe is expanding, the speed of expansion is increasing. First walking, later on jogging, not
Running.
no, jogging
Running.
like this, and then running, and then super running. Now from there, isn't that very, very, very simple? Even geometrically, you can calculate. This will be here like this. Okay, this expansion here, this much here like this, and you can go without any end. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, do you want to do your imaginary drawing over there so they can see it as well?
Well, it's not. I'm not drawing it.
That's
So,
right here.
look, can you by calculating this expansion and the speed, can you make a reverse calculation?
Yeah.
This is what Big Bang is. It's so simple. Reverse calculation. So, if this speed is increasing in this way so fast, so go back, and slow down. This is the origin. I found the origin. Yeah. So it is calculation. It's very simple, but of course, to think of it in order to prove a certain theory, it is a genius thing to say for a materialist. But if you follow the scripture, it's very easy. Everything has a beginning. God, by definition, is the one he cannot have a beginning, by definition. Why? Because self-qayyum. The Quran says, qayyum, answer, self-sustaining being. No beginning, no end. Absolute. No beginning, no end. So it cannot really define God in terms of the conditions of the universe. Because the Quran says, of course, the creator cannot do of the nature of the creature. Creature needs to be given existence. The one who gave existence by definition, should not need to be given existence. Lem yalid wa lam yulad. That means this. God cannot give any attribute to the created being. It means nothing created can have God qualities. And by definition, God cannot inherit any quality from another being. Walam yulad. It wasn't the God by definition. This is the explanation of ahad means. Ahad. When you say what ahad is, lam yalid wa lam yulad. This is self-existing being. So that you cannot define God in terms of the definition you make to the world or about the universe. But what they say, as it is here, they have no knowledge, whatever the Quran says, about this conclusion, nothing but time destroys us. Well, about this, they have no knowledge, whatever. Yep. وَمَا لَهُمْ بِذَلِكَ مِنْ عِلْمٍ. Not at all. It means min ilmin. This neclar form, singular form, undefined form. These are lots of grammatic structures are gone. And min also, a small piece of it. No, even not a small piece of it. The verse is beautiful. Every word is beautiful. But when you study it, it is very consistent within itself. Every letter, even every the form of the letter, form of the letter, it means al-ilmu or min al-ilmi or min ilmin. This I don't know the language, the grammar, how is it called in English, but it is consistent and supporting the same idea. What the whole sentences say. Consistent with the general purpose of the sentence. It's beautiful. So they have no knowledge of what they are saying, because no one can really claim that universe at the beginning by itself. They cannot demonstrate a thing is coming existence by itself, even in a lab or in a scientific form or in a mathematical calculations. They can only do the trick. I mean, either mathematics, you are, I don't know, but as far as I understand what is the philosophy behind it, only by approximation. Right? Only by approximation. But a very famous man said, you know the pixels? Pixel? What you see here? This come and help me.
Screen image.
Sorry? Screen. In fact, you see a lot of things here at the same time, but you can reduce it to the pixels. Pixels are the last minute in the existence of this. This great flow of thought that universe is like this or atom is like this. You can reduce it to a part. Juz'un in the, this is what Laplace said, it's a very great philosopher, all right? Now, very simple 10th century Muslim scholars defined this pixel. There is no pixel, man, in the universe. Juz'un la yatajazza. But it means a part which cannot be divided into two. What the uncertainty principle says, you cannot fix a piece. Juz' means a part which is la yatajazza, but there is no such thing. So that's what they describe dharra. It means whatever the divisions or part, putting part, how do you say it, the word? Help me with the word.
Partition.
whatever no, divide, fractions, there is no end. And this is what uncertainty principle says. There is no end. You cannot really fix a moment. You cannot really fix it. It means even in the world, you cannot really handle and put into the lab the last smallest particle, no, how do you say, division of the particle, and say that this is the main fundamental bricks.
Because you can divide that too.
So they came up with the idea of photon. It means physically undescribable, but we know they exist. Like the lights coming from this photon type, the particles, or whatever they call particle, but it's not a particle. Because if you get all lights together, let's say sun, they say the earth 5 billion years, sun maybe 10 billion years old. If you get all lights of 10 billion years of old sun, put on a scale, how much does it weigh?
Zero.
Zero. Which means their physical words, fundamental bricks are zero. Do you understand this? I go so excited. Their physical words, fundamental bricks are zero, physically zero. Physically zero. But what comes out of it? Screen, full screen, the universe. It's so important. So they cannot really prove what they claim to know. Or this is my theory, I can prove it. You cannot prove it because you can only prove it within the definitions of your approximation. Who is making that approximation? Me. Within my capacity, I am defining what the universe is. Within my, I'm not saying this is subjective, objective matter. It's not that one. Because you cannot comprehend the beginning of the universe, end of the universe, only, comprehend means physically demonstrated, only logical conclusion. Anything change must have a beginning. There is no need to go to the lab. But you can study in the lab how it is changing, but you cannot say it is changing by itself. Yeah. They do nothing but guess. You know that? Guess means their personal speculations. Really, there is no need to take these claims seriously. They cannot prove it. This is just baseless claims, but it is just a guess within the limitations they put for their mathematical equations. They put the equation within the, well, very recently, a guy challenges about something, and I said, come on, it doesn't make sense what you say. Why? Because that's our theorem, how the mathematics works. Okay, tell me one theorem without if. No? Okay. What does if mean? My consideration, which is stated within my own capacity. If means that. If my consideration, within my capacity, but the capacity is limited not by my physical experience. It means within the conditions of the physical conditions of the universe, which means as it is given existence. But they say, no, it exists by itself. No, by itself within the universe, you cannot prove it. I mean, we have to talk a lot. It's so exciting. It's so, you can see the verse is speaking in a very simple way, isn't it? But no one can challenge against. It's beautiful, exciting. For me, maybe I'm just trying to share my excitement. But we can talk a lot about it, but inshallah, that's enough. Inshallah, next week we will start another chapter, inshallah. Yeah. No. We will go answer the other verses. Inshallah. If we have time, we can go into another chapter, inshallah, following chapter. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Before we close this, if we keep repeating a very simple phrases, as we have hundreds, every time we keep repeating them, they are not for nothing. They are not for nothing. Keep all those phrases in your mind, and when you are challenged, your belief is challenged by any ideology, put this simple phrases, very simple. The Quran also says they are just guessing. It means guess their own limitations. Yeah, speculations. Guess means speculation. Now you can just challenge or give the answer to their speculations by using these simple phrases that we keep repeating here. That's my experience. When I read this kind of things, I put my what is this? Razor? Something razor. It's a terminology. It's comes razor.
Occam's razor, sir. Occam's razor.
Occam's razor. No? Is it correct to pronunciation? Say it slowly.
English, they say Occam's razor.
Occam's razor. Yes. That's my Occam's razor. This simple phrases. I love it because the Quran uses very simple phrases as well. So when you put this one, you understand that it doesn't work. I mean, any atheistic interpretation of existence doesn't work. Logically doesn't work. Logically doesn't work. Whatever the evidence they bring is only observation of the order in which the universe has been put. That's it. Observation of what is existing there. But the interpretation of it doesn't make sense. Logically inconsistent. You can understand it. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, next